That snow is depressing, but Oiler fans are happy tonight. Today was step one for them.
Yeah, first you have to win the draft lottery, and then you have to try to figure out who to pick in June. They had a 48% chance of doing just that.
The number one selection in the 2011 NHL entry draft belongs to the Edmonton Oilers.
The Edmonton Oilers will have the tough choice of picking first overall on June 24th in Minnesota. Now GM Steve Tambellini has to go through and find another Taylor Hall.
These players are there for a reason. They have the ability to emotionally handle something. They have the obvious skill. So whether they develop into that player, you don't know, but these top players have the ability to be one day a franchise player.
There's the reaction.
Hall was at the TSN Twitter party downtown and reflected on his time between now and June.
You know, it was probably going to be Edmonton or Boston, and it was a little bit different for me just because I was in the OHL playoffs, so I was still competing and all that kind of stuff. So, but I knew a lot about the Oilers, and I knew a lot about the Bruins, and I was very excited to join the Oilers.
It's guaranteed to be a busy summer for Tambellini and head scout Stu McGregor. While the Oilers wait for the draft now, the playoffs hit ice tomorrow. Says Oilers bench boss Tom Rennie, the Canucks should be favored, but...
I would have said Vancouver, but we took care of them.
The coach mustering a little levity after a season once again full of injuries. Rennie says taking a much closer look at why they lost nearly 300 man games to various ailments might be a great idea.
We should look at footage of every single injury again and see how it happens. You know, and is it a physiological deficiency in a player? Is it a sense of bad timing, bad positioning, and blocking a shot possibly?
Sure, it's because of...
As for next year, Rennie says the players will be challenged even more to take the next step after a season of learning. If they can just stay healthy, the rest of the West might be surprised on how close the Oilers are truly to being competitive.
A much better team than we maybe got credit for outside of here, our own room. That's okay. I don't mind being underestimated and kicking your ass, but we've got to do that. So close isn't good enough. And, so my hope obviously is through preparation and how we organize ourselves next year that we win the majority of those one-goal games. Or even if we won half of them, it would be a different story.
And Rennie said his one-on-one meeting with Curtis Foster went very well, but Foster still leaves town knowing his production has to take a turn for the better. Added pressure for a man who's been through a whole lot of late.
It's been 2 pretty tough years, with breaking my leg and went through all that, and then what happened to me and my wife with our baby last year.
The Fosters lost their young baby shortly after birth before they came to Edmonton last year. Her name was Lila, and Curtis keeps her memory close to heart. But now they're expecting again. A new baby is due at the end of May.
When you're there and you sit at night with your wife and you can see the belly moving and see the baby kicking, or push its leg, push it on the belly and it kicks back. It's a pretty amazing feeling, and to know that in 7 weeks hopefully we'll have her another baby again, and it gives me a little bit of excitement here at the end of the year.
It's no wonder he takes hockey more in stride these days.
He scores! He scores!
I try to keep it out of my mind when I'm playing and use it to my advantage when I can, to kind of remind myself that there is bigger and better things, and you got to let things go. You can't sit there and worry about it, or sit there and get mad on the bench, or you can't let it dwell, because it can really hurt your game when you think about it too much.
And the Vancouver Canucks are the best team in the world right now, but they're not necessarily the favorite to win against Chicago. The Blackhawks may be coming in at 8th place, and they've had a lot of turnover this season, but they also have the advantage of knowing what it takes to win. That's something Vancouver has never known.
Just when you put that jersey on, instant hate comes into this dressing room. So it's a team that we want to beat badly.
One key component that the Hawks will miss is big defender/winger Dustin Byfuglien, and not only because of his size.
I think you're being a little generous on the 240. I think he's pushing 300, and 300 pounds is hard to push around, whether it's tight or loose. But there'll be maybe a little bit smaller guy in front this time, and we'll try to do a good job on him.
I know you guys love to talk about him, but they got some guys up there that do just as good a job as him. They got some new players also that are big bodies in their lineup, so I don't think they won the Stanley Cup because of Dustin Byfuglien.
The fun begins tomorrow in Vancouver. The Jays gave up a huge lead last night, hoping to even it up against Seattle. Third inning, Ryan Longerhands flies it into the stands, and the Mariners score 2. A big inning for Seattle. Milton Bradley fires into an opening, and Jack Wilson gets home. 3-0 Mariners. The Jays made a late push, but still fell short for the second night in a row. 3-2 final. Over to the bronze medal finals at the Mini World Cup. Canadian men beat India 3-2, and the Scottish women beat Canada 5-2. The gold medal finals go tomorrow at the Southside Soccer Centre. And in the Premier League, Manchester United taking on Chelsea. It's Man U that strikes first. Ryan Giggs finds Javier Hernandez in front. It's 1-0. Some sour faces, but it's not done yet. A long pass finds Didier Drogba in front. Tie game. Winner will advance to the Champions League semi-finals to face Barcelona, and it will be Manchester United. Ji-sung Park gets the winner. 2-1 final. And finally, with only recuperation and training to keep him busy for the summer, Taylor Hall will likely stay busy on his Twitter account. After joining up when he got injured late in the season, Hall made some eye-catching and sometimes humorous remarks. He now has 23,000 followers compared to 17,000 for teammate Ryan Whitney.
Whit's a very funny and witty guy, so I know people have taken a liking to it so far, and I mean he's got some time on his hands because he's got a bad foot, but as far as Halsey, I kind of feel bad because he's probably under the radar more, and any little comment, I'm sure people just scrutinize him for it.
So says NHL Twitter veteran Paul Bissonnette from Phoenix, who's better known as BizNasty 2.0.
Be careful, but the thing is you know, if it's your personality, then do it. Because I know I say some things and people are like, oh, that's me, and it's like, oh my God, like Twitter. If you take Twitter seriously, you got issues.
Ryan Jones, also a big Twitterer, has 17,000 followers of his own, and he's the one that got everybody involved in this whole Twitter thing to begin with on the team.
Yeah, some of them are quite humorous. Thanks, and stay with us. We're back right after this break.